What's up, everybody? Welcome back to 333 Motoring. Today we're going to be getting into the E36, more specifically the fuel pumps. So I've had it out to the track a couple times in the last couple months, getting it dialed in suspension wise and whatnot, and I've realized that it has fuel starvation when making right hand corners, and doing some research about it, that pretty much confirmed it. So if you're running like under half a tank or around half a tank, you can get fuel starvation on higher speed right hand corners, which I was experiencing just given the gas that I brought and where I was at. I was around half a tank majority of the session, at the most 3/4 of a tank, so I was getting a lot of that fuel starvation out on the track. So in order to combat that, I'm going to install a secondary fuel pump. So BImmerworld makes this killer kit. So you get a right and left hand fuel pump, replacement pumps that are pretty much genuine BMW spec. I think they fab some of the components on there, but it's pretty much genuine spec. The kit has everything you need, pretty much all the components, hoses that you'll need to adapt the current system on, because you have to get fuel from the left into the right side. So there's a little bit of adapting there. There's wiring you have to hook up to it, so it's a little bit involved in terms of the install. They give you a nice little instruction right here, installation instructions, which are pretty cool. So I have to get into the car now, and I have to remove my rear seat delete and get that going. So I'm going to get that underway, and we'll pick back up when I have access to the fuel pumps. The first step in the process here is start the car up, and then we're going to remove this fuse here. It's fuse number 18 in the fuse box, and that's the fuse to the fuel sender. So we're going to run the car and run the fuel out of that line so we can get to work back here. So you're going to need to access the fuel sender, which I'm working on here, and the fuel pump on the passenger side. It's under the rear seats, so I had a rear seat delete in here, so I pulled that out. But if you have your rear seats back there or whatever, you got to remove those first. So first thing we're going to do here is we're going to pull out the sender, which is what I'm working on here on the driver's side. So there is a special tool you can get to remove the locking nuts on here. I got mine from Pelican Parts. You can use a screwdriver and a mallet though, just kind of hammer it loose a little bit. But what I'm doing here is I'm removing the lines that are in there, making sure they don't spill, so just kind of holding it vertical here and off to the side. Here we go. Here's the special tool here I was talking about. So put that in there. It's a 3/8 socket. Loosen it up. So now we can pull the sender out of the gas tank itself, and you got to kind of pry it up. It's got this little rubber gasket. You can see that seals it airtight. So you have to pull it up enough to where you can cut the line that connects it. That's that tan colored line there. It connects it over to the fuel pump there on the passenger side. So now that we got that all removed, we're going to basically repeat the process. And one thing I would highly recommend while doing this process, you can see it a couple times here in the image, but I'm wearing a mask. You can wear more of a filtered mask or more hardcore one, because there's still raw fuel in there. I try to run my fuel tank down very low for this procedure in preparation for it. So wear a mask or be in a well ventilated area, because it's very potent, the fumes. So anyway, so here's the actual fuel pump itself. So we cut the line over there. We're going to have to drag it across and carefully pull that out. So now the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go back to that's the new fuel pump. So it comes with basically 2 replacement OEM fuel pumps here in the BImmerworld kit. So the one on the passenger side drops in very easily, but when we work our way over here to the passenger side where we're adding the new fuel pump, you need to take your time when you install this thing. So you can see me drop it in and then have to play with it, because the gas tank is actually shallower on the driver's side. So there's a lot less clearance. So there's pretty much a certain angle where the entire fuel pump will actually seat nicely into the gas tank there. So now we got the special tool back out, or your screwdriver and mallet. We got everything tightened back up. So now what we're going to do is we're going to attach the existing hose here that you see me working with. And then there is a larger tube here in the middle, which the kit actually comes with 2 reducers. So it's a little bit of a larger tube. So we're going to cut off about a 3-inch piece of that tube and then add our reducer and connect it to the tube you see me threading across here, because that basically joins the 2 fuel pumps together as one. So you can see here the larger tube. So I cut off about 3 inches, throw the reducer in there, and then we're going to repeat the process here on the passenger side. So similar process. So wait to cut the tube that you thread through. Don't be too much in a hurry to cut that tube. So make sure you give yourself enough slack and you got plenty of tube there to connect it to the reducer and get it across both sides here. So now once they're both in, the last thing we need to do is actually wire this thing into the wiring harness. So I'm using a T-splice method here. So the negative or the ground wire is either an all brown wire or a brown and green striped wire, and the power wire is a green wire. So a T-splice is basically, I'm going to remove some of the sleeve of the thread, or the wire, excuse me, and then I'm basically going to kind of make a hole with a small screwdriver and Allen wrench in the middle with the wire, separate the wires out, and then I could splice or thread the new wire through it, wrap it up in tape here, and you are good to go. So once these things are all spliced in, it's kind of tedious. Take your time because you don't want to cut through the original wire here. You want to make sure it's staying solid. So this is the first wire. Then that's the ground wire, I believe. And then next we're going to do the power wire. And BImmerworld's nice enough to actually make a plug with it. So it's just not wired here. We have 2 raw wires we got to splice in. So it's nice that it actually comes with the plug. So once you splice it in here, you're good to go. Wrap it up with tape. And then the next thing to do is make sure the fuse is back in and then fire it up. See how everything's running. And in this case, everything ran first try. So overall, I would say the installation process of the dual fuel pump kit from BImmerworld was really straightforward. I was most worried about the wiring, and that ended up probably being the easiest thing to do besides I guess the most difficult part was getting the driver's side fuel pump to seat properly. But thanks for watching, everybody. If you have any questions or want some more insight, drop me a comment, smash the like button, subscribe if you like it, and we'll catch you next time here on 333 Motoring. Thanks for watching.